All right, today we are gabbing once again with the president and founder of Vulture's Housewives Institute, Dame Brian Moylan, who is back on the show to talk all about Next Gen NYC, which I have not really talked about on the show yet. I wanted to really kind of get halfway through the season, really figure out how I feel about it. And I needed a true expert to come on to help me really unpack it for the first time. So Brian, thanks for being here. You've been having a great summer. How are you?
I have. Good. And I mean, Next Gen NYC is part of that great summer, I feel like.
Hmm.
And I hope I'm not giving away too much, but when you emailed me about doing this, you were like, is it actually good or were our expectations low?
Yeah. No, that's the question that I was wrestling with because I'm like, when they announced it, when we got the trailer, when we got everything before the premiere, I was just like I was highly skeptical of it. And I think it comes down to, for me, like, I wasn't fully convinced that the Housewives offspring that they had chosen were going to be compelling and like be enough to make for a good TV show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, Obviously I've been proven wrong about that, but like that's where my mind was. Where were you before the premiere, before we got that first episode?
I was in the same place, and then they had filmed it, and we had heard about it, and we knew about it, and it seemed like it was percolating for forever, and we didn't get an announcement, we didn't get a trailer, and it seemed like, oh, this must be in trouble. And also, it seemed to me like, the worst shows are when they slam a bunch of people that don't know each other together, like
Totally.
a, dare I say, Vanderpump Villa
Mm.
or a Lindsay Lohan Beach Club or something like that. And
Yes.
everyone's trying to act out and be on reality television. And so I was like, oh, they just got all these housewives kids and they don't know each other and whatever. And I'm glad that that turned out not to be the case.
Definitely. And I think the other factor for me, low key, was like it was sort of announced and filming at this time when it felt like, wait, they should be working on a Summer House spinoff. They should be laying the groundwork for that.
Yes.
And like it kind of felt like maybe like from a perspective of like being protective of that opportunity and like wanting that to happen. I was like, we
Yes.
don't need another New York show. Like we need the Summer House spinoff. We need the Valley for Summer House. You know what I mean? And so that was also
Yes.
like part
Right.
of, I think, my initial rejection of it.
Yeah. Give Lindsay a job, please.
Yeah, no, exactly. We all want it, and so I think that I think it's clear that like they aren't mutually like they can both exist. I think in this world, but I
Yes.
think before we got this, it was unclear what exactly was going to look like. But it really is a younger subset of people.
No, absolutely. And it's giving like a totally different vibe. I think it's like obviously you have a lot of the hallmarks of a Bravo show, but even, when they do the subtitles are a little bit different, the editing's a little bit different, whatever. And it feels a little bit retro in a good way. It feels like original Gossip Girl. It feels like Gallery Girls. It feels like
NYC
all
prep.
these. Exactly. Like all these Gossip Girl era shows that Bravo tried to do and didn't quite work, but were actually quite good.
Yeah,
And yeah, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
so I'm into it.
The way that it's edited, I think, is low key. I've been noticing that, like, or like when they'll put something up on the bill, like on a billboard, or like I think the way they do the FaceTimes and the texts are good because I mean we're talking about
Yes.
Gen Z people, and that is like such a. I mean, we all communicate that way, but it's especially sort of like how that generation communicates with one another, and like I think they've done a good job of incorporating that without like making it feel like we're watching people texting the whole time. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And I think that, yes, it's always been hard to get like texts on and social media and all that, like, especially on these shows. So, yes, I'm glad to see that they're leaning into the kind of youngness of it. And I think part of the appeal to me is, I moved to New York when I was around these kids' age,
Same.
and so
Yeah.
it
After
feels
college.
like, yeah, it feels like my youth in New York in a way that is maybe a little too nostalgic for comfort. I don't know, a little too midlife crisis, but
No, but
also like really fun.
there's a relatability that you can touch down on, but not
Yeah.
completely. But they're still like they all have access to their parents' money and stuff like that. Like they're living a more
Yes.
lavish life than I was living at 22, but like they're still maybe they're walking the same streets, and they're struggling with
Yes.
some of the same ideas, which gives it an inherent relatability, I guess.
Well, and I do like that, Candy is putting Riley on notice, like, you have six
Yes,
months, and
same.
like Ava Dash's father is like, you need to start a business. Like, it's not like these are just kids there's no stakes or they have unlimited spending power or whatever. And so, yes, I appreciate
Yeah, and
all of
and
the
we'll, and,
above.
and we'll get into him specifically, but like even like the one person who like has said basically as a trust fund, Charlie, like the thing is now that he might have money troubles. So it's like even the like kind of quote unquote richest one, maybe he's not that rich.
Exactly. Or he's just so poorly managing his money
Yes,
that,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
But it's also that thing about like that's how rich people are, is they like don't think about money, or they don't think to be like, oh, you get it, I'll get it next time,
Yeah.
And
They're
and then
almost
all
more
these
frugal.
kids,
Yeah.
yeah, who didn't grow up like that are like, girl, it's a $14,000. Well, first of all, I have been to the box
Me
more than
too.
once.
Hmm.
I've never spent close to $14,000.
Well, I'm guessing they got a table, I'm sure. It was a table. So like, but 14,000 is a lot of bottles for a table. So
Yeah. I mean, last time I was in the box, I had a table, but I was on the guest list, girl. So I don't know how they're doing
you
it,
weren't you weren't putting
but
that credit card in.
hell no.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
yeah. You're with
oh,
the promoter or something. Exactly. Yeah, but it's
yeah.
actually funny because the box is a place that like it's not a new place. It's a place people have been going to for over 10 years. And I was there when I was 23 as well, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
way over 10 years. I mean, when did the box open? Like 2009?
I don't know when it opened, but it's a through line. It's a through line if you've
It
had those
is.
20s in New York, you know?
I'm glad that the box is still happening. I
Me too.
remember when the box first opened, I was working at Gawker.com,
Okay.
RAP, and I
You were
remember
all
a
over that, I'm sure.
story.
I'm sure you're all over that at Gawker.
Oh my God. Yeah. We got a story about there was this performer. Her name is Rose Wood. I don't know if you've ever seen her. I hope she's still at the box. She would do these crazy, crazy acts. And when it first opened, there were all these celebs going there. And apparently, one night, Susan Sarandon was sitting like in the very front row, and she went to the end of the stage and like put her finger down her throat and like barfed on Susan
No. Oh
Sarandon.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw something crazy when I went there. That's it. Lots of
That you're
bodily
going to keep to yourself.
lots of bodily fluids. I don't even know how to like eloquently talk about it, but there was
Yeah.
blood involved, there were various body parts involved, there was semen involved. It was the whole thing. So
Yeah.
that that's
Yeah.
that's what that's
Oh,
what Riley and Charlie and them were doing as they had their $14,000 table for everybody listening who has not been to the box. They were watching something like that on stage. So
exactly. Right.
yes.
I feel like it's hard for people outside of New York to understand A, what the box is, B, how you would spend $14,000 at a nightclub. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. I
It's
wonder, for us it seems obviously relatable, but
but it's
for
not.
everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so it was alluded to on the show, and it's been talked about on social media how like going into the production of Next Gen NYC, there were initially fewer housewives offspring,
Yes.
or there are at least more of the non-housewives offspring on the cast, and many of them or some of them dropped out because they started to see that it was becoming a show about that, or that's what they thought it would be about that.
Yeah.
What do you make of that and sort of the ratio they've landed on and like how much they're leaning into the housewives of it all and not like how are you sort of thinking about that and feeling about that?
I feel like those kids who dropped out are kind of crazy because, like Andy said, it only got greenlit because of the Housewives kids, right?
Hmm.
And it's gonna like that's the reason we're gonna tune in is because of the Housewives kids, but we're gonna stay because of it's a good show or the new characters or whatever. So yes, you need those new kids. I think Brooks is a great anchor, like to the group. I think he and Riley seem to really be friends, which I think
Hmm.
is great. And I think Ariana just moved to New York, which is the experience, like we've said, of so many 20 somethings. And she and Riley were obviously friends. And I think that her being introduced into this friend group and getting some resistance about being trashy or from the South or a housewives kid, like I think all of that is good. The
Me
one
too.
problem I have is Gia Giudice.
And
If
what's
you
the
want to be
problem
on the
there?
show, move your ass to New York City.
It
this is not about the suburbs. No one is coming to visit you in New Jersey ever.
and it's not like she has like a job in New York that she commutes in for every day or anything like that. It's like she basically it feels like she's choosing to go in when she feels like going in for like a group dinner, and that's kind of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's she's engaging when she wants to engage.
Yes. And so it's like, okay, if you want to live this thing, like, let's see you move to New York and deal with all that stuff that all these kids are dealing with, having to live in a super expensive apartment that's tiny and go out on these nights, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my only problem with that at all, really.
Sure. Yeah, and I feel like so I want to break it down a little bit because Ariana to me is like the reason why I'm enjoying the show a lot. Like I love the show overall and I
Yeah.
like a lot of them, but she is like the biggest pleasant surprise for me. She's so mature and she's so like she's very likable. She has her head on her shoulders. She has like a sense of humor about herself too that I think a lot of them don't have. But I
Yes.
feel like the biggest thing for me, and this is when I really turned on the show for the positive, was like in that first episode, she came right out with the tea about her mom. She aired
Yes.
out their family drama of Kim and Croy stealing their money as teenagers, and it was just done in such a way that it was like she's not turning on her mom. Like they're not like estranged. Like they still have a really good
No.
relationship, and she will defend her mom. But it introduced this tension between I'm the daughter of a housewife and this is we I had a complicated upbringing because of it. It affected my
Yes.
family, and then I compared that to Gia, who is like so. There's no tension between her and Teresa. She is so on board with Team Teresa. She'll never say anything bad about her
Yes.
mom, and so there is no tension to be found there that they'll ever let us see. And that to me is like a big distinction between them for me, and sort of why Ariana's working so well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that we as people moving from other places to New York, you know, you meet these like cool New York kids and you feel the same way she does when they're like, girl, you have a fashion brand, or like you're
Right.
trying to learn how to fit in with these New York people and how to dress differently and act differently and what the things are like. And so I really like that element of her having
Hmm.
moved here. Even if she moved for the show,
Doesn't
like I
matter.
don't care because we all moved to New York for some job,
Right.
whether
Right.
it was a reality show or not. And yeah, and what I the other interesting thing I find about Ariana is she's the only one who isn't exactly like their housewife parent.
Totally. Yeah.
Whereas
So
like
true.
Brooks is totally I'm disengaging.
Hmm.
Riley is like calm and cool until you get her started, just like Candy. You know, Gia is will get fighting and maybe a little bit dumb like her mom. But yeah, Ariana is like seems like the opposite
She's
of
not
Kim in
Kim.
a
Yeah.
way that is
Yeah.
refreshing
It's
in a
like
great way.
it is so good that they went with Ariana on the show versus Brielle. Brielle
Oh
would
my
not
god.
have landed at all, but Ariana's
No.
landing so well.
Girl, how does Brielle have 1.5 million followers on Instagram?
They're probably purchased. Let's be real.
Okay. Let's because I was like, girl, Paige has that many, and you're no Paige.
No, I don't. The Brielle is mini Kim, and
A
that,
hundred percent.
and you're so right that like they needed the one who flips it, you know.
Yes.
But I think that Ariana just handling a very, she's communicating a tough situation pretty well in a way that like you sympathize with her, but you know it makes you kind of hate Kim, but also like she's defending Kim, so it's like you're not totally lost. She's not totally lost on you. I don't know. It's just when Kim showed up and like they had that scene, I was like, I don't know. She's just handling this like a wise beyond her years kind of way.
Absolutely. How do you feel about the housewives'
Yeah.
presence on the show?
I like that we've seen all the parents at some point. I like I think that is like
Yes.
a I think that the Marks family is around obviously much more because they essentially live in New York half the year it
Yes.
seems when they're not filming Salt Lake City Housewives. Um, it doesn't bother me though for some reason, and I don't really know why it doesn't bother me. Like I think in another realm it would have bothered me that like one family is like there so much more than the rest. And maybe it's because Brooks, I think I agree, like he's a really good glue and he's a good sort of connector, I think, in this group. But like him on his own, he's not like he's not as big of a star naturally as like they wanted us to think season one of Salt Lake City Housewives. You know what I mean? Like when he
You're
first entered
correct.
the scene. And so I think that maybe he needs like the support of having Seth there or Meredith there or maybe Chloe there. I don't know. Does it bother you?
No, but I like that with Teresa and Candy and Kim, it's like drop-ins, like when you're a kid and your
Yeah, for
parents come to
sure.
visit, you
Yeah,
know?
it feels that way.
Uh, and I don't mind Meredith so much because
Seth.
Brooks works with and for her. But girl, that Seth is hard work. Like, oh my God, that scene with him and Charlie made me want
We did not
to.
need that. We didn't need that.
Oh my God. I was just, and I get that Seth has a thing going on. I don't know that it's a thing I want to see. you know?
Yeah, I get it. I totally
But
get it.
no, but I do like that we saw Charlie with his father, which explains so much. And
So
we saw
much.
Ava with her father. And so it does have this like multi-generational thing, especially because a lot of Bravo viewers are older, and so they're going to relate more to like Meredith going to visit her kids than they're going to relate to the kids. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
for
so
sure.
I think it's a good bridge between the two, and I think they've used it like sparingly enough. And I liked when it was Meredith and Teresa had
Teresa
lunch together, right?
had dinner with
Yeah,
Gia and Brooks. Yeah, that was a good scene for sure.
right. Like
Yeah.
it's always like a fun crossover. Woo, girl, I can't wait for the Candy Kim crossover.
Oh my God. I mean, and that's also been so it has this like it's such a new thing where it's like they're alluding to and showing all this flashback footage from over a decade ago for the Tardy for the Party scandal that's like coming back up, and it's just like this is new for Bravo. This is like a new it's and it works for me. Like seeing Riley and Ariana meet for the first time since they were like 10 years old and they both live in New
yes.
York now and they're like, wait, why were our moms feuding again? Like, and that's why we didn't see each other. Like, I, my family grew up with somebody who we were very close to, and then my parents weren't friends anymore. And like, that's an experience that I've had as well. And it's just so funny to sort of reconnect in that way. And, um, I don't know. It's great. I don't know. It works. It works.
No, and I'm with you. And I feel like, especially with the kids who start on young, who we've grown up with, who we've seen their whole lives. Like we've seen Gia since she was 6, and I think that having all that footage is really good, and it makes the audience instantly connected to the Housewives kids in a way
Right.
that we can't to Charlie or Ava or whomever, who I think are all great characters,
Hmm.
but we just don't have that same, deep relationship with them.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say is you brought up the parents of the other people too that we've seen. And it's also hammering home how like reality TV, I mean, like we're seeing all the different family businesses with Ava and Charlie and sort of what their parents do. Reality TV is the family business of the Burris family,
Yes,
of the
a
Zolciak
hundred
family,
percent.
of the Judices, of the Marks family. Like, that is the family business. That is the sort of central vehicle for everything they do. And I think it's so cool to see it equated to like these more traditional show business families or to like crypto trading. Like that's like it's just it's great to see it equated to that because it legitimizes it and it's like no, this is how we've been making money for the past 10, 20 years, and I think it's
Yes.
cool. It's cool to see.
Well, and I also think, back to the point about the Housewives kids versus everybody else is they have studied they grew up in the family business, right? They
Yes.
know what to deliver. They know what they need to talk about. They know, how it's going to happen, how to play the camera, whatever, for better or for worse. And so, yeah, I think that is valuable, especially for the first season of a show to have people who are practiced in the reality television arts and sciences, as I like to call them, as
Yes.
opposed to, new people, let's
Yeah.
say.
And so let's get into some of those new people because I think they did a pretty damn good job of finding them. We have Charlie,
Oh, yeah.
Ava, Georgia, Amira, and then there's sort of Dylan and Shay, I forget his name, who's like their sort of
Yes.
like kind of secondary characters. Georgia, she starts off kind of very divisive with like the hygiene thing and what have
Yes.
you. But I think that she's so New York. I find her so watchable. There's something that I really like about her. And I also like that she's not completely closed off to the Bravo people. Like she's whereas
Yes.
Charlie is like very closed down on that. She like has landed in this place where she's giving them all a chance, which I think is such a good look for her.
Yes.
I don't know, she's divisive and she's kind of a lightning rod, but she means well, and I like watching her, you know?
Absolutely. Yes. And I think that anybody who lives in New York knows a Georgia.
Yeah,
Like she's, definitely an individual, but she's
for
also
sure.
a bit of a type in a way where you're like, oh, I have a friend
I've met
just
her.
like you, girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And right. And she's like a good time and you want to
Yeah.
hang out with her.
And like, there's something legit about her. They keep bringing up the Cat's Deli Diplo party, and they keep bringing up the Anna Delvey party, which like I think we can find some new points of reference hopefully when she plans more
Yeah.
parties. But
The
those
Meredith
are like,
Marks caviar
yeah,
party.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there we go. But and it's like, maybe they're leaning on that a little too much. But like, she is out here hustling. She said that she was like, I mean, it's all relative, but she said she was like one of the less rich people on the Upper East Side
Right.
where she grew up and whatever. So it feels like she kind of does need to do some hustling, and she's doing it. And I don't know, I have like respect for her and like her kind of go-getter attitude, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And her, like, and I think she's interesting and kind of daffy, but on a lot of these Bravo people, on a lot of these Bravo shows, we don't have people who are good people. And there doesn't seem to be anything malicious about
No, I
Georgia
agree
at
with you.
all.
Yeah.
And I think that that's nice to have like in this cast to
Yeah.
kind of balance everybody out.
There's a difference between being no bullshit and not a good person. I think she's just kind of no bullshit, you know?
Absolutely
Um,
correct. Yes.
Charlie. So I think part of the reason why Georgia has been able to sort of land in the way she has is because she's being directly compared to Charlie, who is the absolute villain of this show. And
Oh my God.
he's had so many moments almost every single episode. I mean, the him chewing Georgia out over the $200 Bose speakers that she just won't give back to him. Like, you can't make this shit up. It's so good. It's so good.
Right. And it's like, girl, it was also 6 days and you have nothing to do.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what? Like, yeah. And
Play it
to
on your
George's
phone.
point, you are always pretending to be so rich. Just go buy a new fucking speaker, dude. Like,
Totally. Yeah, totally.
what is, but he is such a good villain. But
Yeah,
is
he is.
he playing villain or is he just like that?
I think it's maybe a combo. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I think he likes to get the reaction out of people.
Yes.
I think he likes to say something really off kilter and like see how people respond to it. And I think that's kind of
Yes.
his like I think he like that he probably does that in front of his dad because he wants attention. You know what I mean? Like I
A
think
hundred
that's
percent.
it's such
Yes.
like he's an attention starved individual. But I think either way, like he even if he's trying to stoke the flames a little bit, it's also very clear that like he's new to reality TV and he's not completely he doesn't really know how this is all going to land when they're filming,
Yes.
and that's a good thing. And I think
Yeah.
that, I think other than the whole thing with Riley, which he was very insensitive about, he did not, that was very well handled on her part and poorly handled on his part. But like,
And well handled on Candy's part when Riley called
yes,
her. And I was
totally.
like,
She locks the
that's the
fuck in
Candy
on
verse
that.
we miss.
Absolutely. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
immediately activated. Yeah, I thought that was, I mean, it was very compelling television. And there's of course people who are like, we don't need Charlie anymore on the show, blah blah blah. He's terrible, but like, no, they do need Charlie. He's a
Yes.
really good
You
villain,
always need the villain.
and he's a willing villain, and
Yeah. For
he's
now.
exactly. He's a good lightning rod for the show, I think.
No, absolutely. Yes. You definitely need him. And I think he's great. And I think he's a great character. And I think that, yeah, he's probably playing it up, but you're right. It's like you see in his relationship to his father, how like everything he's doing with these kids is shit he learned as like a prep school kid trying to get his father's
With an
attention.
absentee dad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I also I'm really growing to like Ava. Like I was kind of indifferent with her, I think, but she talks like Kourtney Kardashian, which kind of just gets me off the bat. And like, she just like she has celebrity parents. I would like to hear more. I would like to see Rachel Roy, who is Becky with the good hair, and I would just love to see her
Yes.
on the show. They kind of talk around her in an interesting way, so I wonder if she doesn't really want that much to do with it. But I kind of enjoy her. Like I think that she's kind of leaning in as the show goes on. She's not fully
Yes.
there yet. She's not fully there yet, but I can see her kind of getting even more comfortable, maybe.
I like her because she's so cool.
Yes.
Like like in a
Legit.
really cool way that you don't often get on reality television, in that like Jenna Lyons way. Like, you are
So
so
true.
fucking cool. I want to
So
be your
true.
friend. And like that's what I like about her. But yeah, like Jenna Lyons needs to like, you
Sink her
know,
teeth into it. Yep.
give us a little bit more. Yeah, show up for it. Be for
Yeah.
real, for real.
Like I was worried that, she had this like conflict with the Jersey Shore trip.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would love to see Rachel Roy on this show. And I
I
would
would
love to see
love.
Rachel Roy become a Real Housewife of New York. But girl, if she don't want to be on Next Gen NYC.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine a world where like there's a Real Housewife of New York and their kid is on Next Gen NYC. Like the same city. That would kind of break my brain. I think I like the separation, but um,
Oh my God. Imagine there's a world where Rachel Roy throws a party and the Real Housewives of New York City are there, and all the Next Gen kids
and that's the
go.
back door.
And then you see like the same party, like from two different like perspectives.
Listen,
You're welcome, Bravo. That was just a free
I mean
idea
that's
for you.
yeah. It's kind of in a different way. It's kind of like when Vanderpump Rules started, where you saw like
Yeah. Yeah.
them working the party, and then there's supposed to be the kids' corner, I guess.
Yeah.
The other people, we have Amira, who I really like. I think Amira is she's like a very big influencer on TikTok, and she's like, whereas Ava's like kind of the high fashion one, Amira is more of
Yeah.
like the influencer perspective.
Is
And
she for real influence? Because I'm
yeah,
not a
yeah,
TikTok
I
girly.
know. So I interviewed her like 3 years ago for Yahoo. Like she kind of
Got
is a
it.
breakout TikTok person, and I think what's really a, a very smart thing they did with Amira is they have not made the fact that she is trans like her entire identity on the show, and they're telling her story through her career and her relationship and all of
Yes.
that. And they're not, I think 3 years ago they would have made they would have made Amira's entire personality and presence on the show all about like her journey to coming out and kind of getting turn to
Yeah.
transitioning. And I think they've done a really good job of just like presenting her life as is. And she's very likable to me. She really is.
She is. And you can see how she has a little bit of that level headedness, voice of reason to her.
Yeah.
But I also feel like when the story comes for her, which it hasn't yet, she's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think she can react. Like, I mean, even in the
yeah.
Jersey Shore when George is like, oh, is the Ozempic wearing off or whatever? And like, she's like, what the fuck? Like I think Amira can lock in. You know what I mean? She can be,
Yeah.
she can be confrontational if she needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, is the Ozempic wearing off is such a good read.
It's hilarious. I need like has that happened on Housewives before where somebody's used Ozempic as like has that happened?
I don't think so, because I feel
Because
like
they're
they're
all on
all
it.
on it, so
Yeah.
nobody could be like,
I'm,
oh, you're
uh,
on Ozempic.
the
Like,
first one to
yeah,
do that will get some points from me, I will say. Um,
100%.
we
We have yet to talk about my favorite of the new people.
Dylan,
Oh my God.
the hottie with the OnlyFans, the bisexual hottie.
Oh my God. I love him
Have
so
you
much. And
subscribed?
uh, so yes, I have,
You
as a matter of
did?
fact. Yeah,
Oh,
well,
tell us.
it's free to subscribe
Oh,
to his
okay.
OnlyFans.
Okay.
And I am, as I like to say, a supporter of the arts.
Listen,
And so I
independent
subscribed for free.
independent business. Yes, exactly.
Exactly, to
Entrepreneurial.
see what the deal was, whatever. And then so he like emails you whatever and is selling like a picture, but it's like $99. That is way more than a Denise Richards nude bundle, let me tell you.
Oh, is it?
Well, Erica Jane told us what it was like $12.99 or
Oh
something.
yeah, she did. You're right.
Yeah.
Wait, so you didn't pay $99 to get a photo?
No, I did not pay
You
$99.
you could expense it probably
I
for research.
100% could expense it. And one of the evergreen story ideas, don't steal it, anybody
Okay.
listening,
Okay.
is a OnlyFans guide to Bravo stars on OnlyFans. Because there's, especially if you get into the below deck of it, there's
Oh, are there?
a
I
lot
don't.
more than you would think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody needs to really be the boots on the ground and do the work for the people.
I would take that one for the team, as it were. However, to your point about both him and Amira, and we've seen this on a lot of other Bravo shows recently. Like, I feel like in the early days of Housewives, and even back to the Fab Five, which is what started Bravo
Totally.
as it was. The gays, it was always like a little bit of an accessory. It was like a Dwight Eubanks. It was like
Hmm.
a every girl has her gay kind of thing. And then you get to Southern Hospitality and you have Michaels and they're just
TJ. Yep.
integrated into the friend group. And same thing here. It's like, yeah, he's bisexual and on OnlyFans. Yeah, she's trans. Like, who cares? Like, the kids don't give a shit. And
Totally.
that's like what we're getting. And I think that's a really good vibe. And I think it's getting there to be more diversity and more inclusion, more LGBTQIA plus voices in a way that's not like too
Yeah, it's not like
showy or
it's not
annoying.
like the gay show. You know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
this is a Gen Z friend group, and we have somebody who's bisexual, somebody who's gay, somebody who's trans. And this is just what a friend group looks like, I guess, for this generation. It's amazing, and I agree. They're doing it really in a way that's not hitting you over the head with it. The two kind of people who are, I don't even know if they're officially on the show, but we have Chloe Marks, who is like, she was obviously a big factor in like the Charlie Brooks thing at the beginning because
Yeah.
she went on a date with him. And then also Ariana's boyfriend, Hudson. Um, I like Hudson. I think that they're like I would never put them together as a couple necessarily if I saw them both like kind of walking down the street, but they clearly have a good long relationship, and he is also like really rich. And so that is like something
Yes.
they're not really talking about much on the show when we're talking about Ariana's money troubles, but like that's how they're paying for this apartment. That's how, that's the
Yes.
subtext of that.
Right. And yeah, he's an interesting character. I mean, oh my God, his style is terrible. His hair is terrible. Like,
Blinged out all the time.
he needs 2 years in New York City and he's going to be like, like legit.
Right, right,
So,
right. He'll get the haircut. I was watching a clip of Ariana on the Comments by Celebs podcast, and she was talking about how she met him. And I guess Brielle, like 10 years ago at this point, Brielle saw him on a beach in like Florida, and he had like the big hair or whatever. And she went up to him and
yeah.
she was like, "My sister is gonna be in love with you." And that's how they exchanged Snapchats, and that's how they met. And they've been together for almost 10 years now.
How are you like 22 and been together for 10 years?
Girl, I don't know, but that's what they say.
But
Um,
yeah, I mean, good for that. Yeah, whatever they have seems to be working. I don't think like he doesn't seem cut out for a show. And
no, I
and
think he's
like
a good kind of accessory to Ariana.
yeah, no, but he's a great like husband, boyfriend, whatever around for the scene. Yeah, he gives me like Luke on the Valley vibes.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, he's there.
Yeah,
He's there for the ride. He'll support it, but he's not going to lock in necessarily. What do you
yeah.
do you read with Chloe? Because she was involved in the drama at the beginning, and she's kind of like there a lot, but she's not really like spotlighted or whatever. Do you think that like they wanted her to maybe be a cast member and like she didn't really work or she wasn't as compelling enough? Like, what do you think about what happened there?
I don't know. I because it also feels a bit like, and I think this is a positive, like she's Brooke's sister and she's just kind of around,
Sure. Yeah.
and I think that that's how it would be in life, and that's fine how it is on the show. But yeah, I feel like they, yeah, might have tried her
Okay.
out more because she barely has any
Yeah.
confessionals.
It's so
Like,
interesting. Yeah, but she's
yeah,
their age.
but I also worry that if both Meredith and Seth and Brooks are as on the show as much and Chloe, it starts to feel like the Marks Family show with a bunch of other people. And so it's probably smart that if she at once was supposed to have a bigger role, that they dialed
Diminished
it
it.
back
Yeah.
down a bit.
I,
Yeah.
I agree with
But,
that.
she feels like Lauren, Portia's sister, where we,
Yeah.
we know her, she's around, she's obviously a big part of her sibling's life, but we don't need to invest too much.
Yeah. She doesn't need to impact the group necessarily. Yeah.
No.
Um, so I feel like we've covered most of the bases here. I feel like the interesting thing for me will be to see. It feels like they'll almost definitely give the show a second season. Like it can't be that expensive, and I think it's
No.
it's getting a lot of really good word of mouth, and like people just seem to be fairly. It gets better ratings than some better live ratings than some of the other shows. So
Yeah.
I think what I would watch for a second season personally is like we talked about how the Housewives kids have studied being on reality TV for their lives.
Yeah.
but these other people don't know reality TV and they are new to it. I'm so curious how that contingent of the cast will like respond to this first season having aired and like seeing themselves. And it's the classic second season thing that I don't think will affect the offspring as much as those people.
No, I completely agree. And so I'll be curious too. And I'll also be curious, who they bring back, if they find new people, if those are new Housewives kids, if those are new New Yorkers. I would like, I think that now that we've established some of the group, we won't need to have other,
Yeah,
Housewives kids
I agree.
involved. If you were going to add any Housewife kids to the
Hmm,
show,
that's a good question. Um, who would I add? I don't think I would add anybody from Jersey. I don't think. I don't think. I mean, like,
no.
it's like you could do like a Frankie Jr., but I don't think that he would be game for reality TV in that big way.
No,
Um,
and he's also doesn't seem like he would mesh with the crew.
no, no. I think. I mean, like, is Victoria de Lesseps? Is she too like? I think she seems like she could be maybe like a Georgia friend. You know what I mean? Like a
100%.
she's an
She and
artist. She's a little
Georgia
quirky.
totally know each other.
Totally. Oh my God. Okay, that's who I'd add. Why not?
I would add either or both of the Sheens, Denise Richards' daughters.
Oh, interesting. Well, but they live okay, but there's the rumors that there's going to be a next gen LA.
I mean, I would be. Oh, do we need? Who would be an next gen like Kyle Richards' daughters?
I mean, that's where my thought went. But in the Bravo accounts that have posted it, I've seen like the Dubrow kids or Cynthia's daughter who lives out there. Or like, there's nobody, and we've seen I like the Richards sisters, but they're not, or the Umanskis, but I don't know. They're not like they weren't super compelling on buying Beverly Hills necessarily. Like it's
No.
so
Yeah. And they right. There's no one on the I mean the Dubrow kids seem like fine, but also still a little too young.
yeah. I guess you could. And on both these shows, you could also lean in more to the Nepo baby thing too, because that's also what the show kind of is. It's the Nepo baby show
Yes.
because it's I mean Ava Dash, that's who she is, and
No, exactly. Same
um,
with even
but
Charlie's dad is
yeah.
some
So
rich
you could, but
whatever.
you could do more celebrity offspring. You know what I mean? Like whereas like Beverly Hills as Housewives is like sort of the entree for like actresses that we know but whose careers have
Yeah.
taken a dip and they get back on that show. Like that could be sort of a backdoor for people like that who want to get famous again through their kids or something. You know what I mean? So
If you can get a Hadid or an Amelia Gray, like
Olivia
okay, I'll
Jade,
watch.
the college
Yeah.
scandal girl, like that's the kind
Right.
of shit, you know?
Yeah. That shit I would be into.
Yeah.
But like the Dubrows, like,
Yeah.
okay, girl.
Okay, now, yeah. And now I'm like, now that the wheels are turning, it's just like, okay, they've unlocked something with the next gen potential like franchise of it all, where it's just like, there's a lot of ways you can bring a show like this, and they have a lot of runway with it. They really do.
Well, I was joking that in the Real Housewives of Orange County premiere, we find out that Stella, Bador, and one of the Dubrows were hanging out in
Yes.
Paris. And I was like, bitch, you already tried to get Next Gen Paris off the ground? Like, come on.
Bring back Real Girlfriends of Paris.
Yeah, exactly. No, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. But but to that point, like Bravo's had such a hard time getting these like young people shows off the ground that I'm
Mhm.
glad that this
Me
one
too.
worked. And if it took Housewives kids to get us there, like
Totally.
great.
Yeah, I think that this is gonna be. I mean, we haven't had a really successful or a really successful new non-franchised show since Summer House, really, if you think about it, like that has stuck
Yeah.
around. And this could be that show, I think. I could see it being around for a long time because you can easily
Yeah.
cycle through people on the show. So,
Same.
um,
Well, you're gonna be on next season when you and Dylan are like
shut the fuck
engaged.
up. Brian,
Yes.
let me know when you write the OnlyFans article, okay? Oh my God. Well, this has been great. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to really unpack this show. You have this amazing newsletter for Vulture that comes out every other week, correct? do all the plugs
Yes.
that, and what are you recapping right now? Plug all the things.
I am currently recapping the Valley, Orange County, and Miami.
Oh, fun. That's a
The
good trio.
underappreciated Miami.
Hmm.
And so those go up on Vulture right after the episodes air. And yeah, and I have my newsletter, the Housewives Institute Bulletin. It comes out every 2 weeks. We're on a little summer hiatus.
Yeah.
But you can sign up for that at vulture.com/housewives. It's going to start up again in September because I've been
Love.
working on something big that's also coming out in September. Ooh,
Ooh.
fun.
Okay, I'm
So
intrigued.
you'll
I'm
hear
intrigued.
all about it
Oh
soon.
my God. Oh my God. I'm perked. I'm ready. All right, Brian, thanks so much, and we'll do this again soon, I'm sure. I want to gab.